The hierarchy of needs demonstrates how we make decisions when working with clients. With this hierarchy, we're going to create a list of low-hanging fruit and areas of opportunity to prioritize and address first. The problem that we oftentimes see is people barking up the wrong tree, meaning that they're focusing on the wrong things, wasting time, energy, money, and other resources along the way. For example, improving mobility is always the go-to, especially in gyms. Mobility drills, foam rolling, lacrosse ball smashing, accessory work, banded mobilizations. These are all common methods we see people using to get rid of pain, all geared towards providing improved range of motion. But how do we know if somebody has enough flexibility and mobility? Are we sure that they're limited in either and that's the reason why they're struggling? In reality, it's more likely to be a strength problem than a missing range of motion problem. Therefore, the mobilizing and passive stretching might feel nice, but it's not going to solve the problem. Often, clients are given cues and drills for improving technique or execution of a skill that don't actually improve performance. Has someone assessed the client and determined if a strength balance issue actually exists? The hierarchy of needs allows us to avoid this problem. It takes away the guesswork and provides us with a way to consider all the possible variables and, more importantly, narrow them down and focus on the ones most likely to be contributing to the problem at hand. This is where we create the functional diagnosis and plan of attack. Let's say you have a limited ankle dorsiflexion. How is that going to affect your ability to squat? Is it going to look more like a squat where your torso is straight up and down, or more like a hinge where you're bending over, similar to how you would do if you were picking something up off of the ground? If we identify that a client is hinge dominant with limited ankles and we program more squats, thinking more reps in practice will improve their skill, we at best hit a plateau and more likely create dysfunction because skill work will not solve a flexibility problem. Flexibility findings can drive strength imbalances, and we need to consider that fact. What if someone is frustrated with their squat strength? They haven't been able to increase their 1 rep max in years, despite being consistent in their training and following a squat-specific program intended to improve that strength. On top of that, they've struggled with back pain while squatting. We may assess them and find their flexibility and mobility check out. Their movement is good to go, so we move up to strength balance. Here, we want to know how well the joints transmit and absorb force in different planes, upward pulling versus upward pressing, front to back, right to left. Upon assessing, we find their right leg is twice as strong as their left leg. Guess what they're doing when they squat? They're going towards the path of least resistance, which is towards the right leg. What's happening when they're trying to drive out of the bottom of the hole with that heavy weight on their back? Their right leg isn't getting any help from the left, and they're not working very well together. This client can work on back squatting with that barbell all day. But until the side-to-side strength discrepancies is addressed through training that single leg strength, they're going to continue to be frustrated at a plateau. This is another case of the value of the hierarchy of needs. We must understand, however, that this is not a step-by-step approach. In using it, we don't have to necessarily follow a specific sequence or progression. We may jump around from layer to layer based on someone's goals, history, presentation of symptoms, or the phase of their journey when they're working with us. This allows for the ability to think creatively and have flexibility in our coaching. We do, however, place a priority on the foundation, on recovery and capacity, your sleep, diet, stress, exercise, community, and connection. These are all pillars and where we'll look first. See your workbook for a thorough dive into how we use the hierarchy of needs, as well as how this tool is an important piece of creating a team approach with healthcare professionals to ensure that the most effective care is given to our clients.